What's up, guys? It's Jim with Awaken TCG, and today we have an awesome video for you guys. So basically, I went to one of my local tournaments, but it was no normal one-piece card game tournament. This tournament was a low-tier tournament, so only low-tier leaders allowed. I will show you guys the leaders that were allowed specifically on the screen right now. So as you can see, the best leader I saw in this list was going to be Black Yellow Big Mom and Mono Yellow Big Mom, as you can kind of just play that deck like Katakuri for the most part, just more focused on the late game with the leader effect. So anticipating a lot of people to play those decks, I decided to play Z. Z, if you guys don't know, is really good against yellow, as if you get your 10 drop down, it's really easy to remove all the big bodies that they have, and then you can have stuff like Borsalino, Sabo, Queen to basically block her up and never let them have a board to actually finish you off. So that is the idea with this deck. If you have not seen my Forgotten Leaders video on this Z leader, pretty much this is the same list. I think I tweaked it a little bit. I added more queens, and I think I removed a couple things, but basically the plan is we drop 10 drop Kuzan as soon as possible. You need to find this card or you're going to lose. Basically, this is the heart and soul of this deck. You need to find 10 drop. And the bad thing about that is this is not a searchable card. It is former Navy, not Navy. Brand new can only search Navy. He can't search cards with Navy in the type. So that makes this 10 drop not searchable. So we need to run a ton of draw in order to find it. So draw like 4-cost Kuzan, cycle with Queen, cycle with Sabo. Right here, the lead performer Disaster is going to actually ramp us while drawing, which is fantastic for this deck because we can get closer to Kuzan while trying to find it at the same time as well as Great Eruption, which you'll see in a ton of these games. I really just use it as a 1-cost cycle just to try to find the 10 drop as soon as I can. But pretty much that is the plan. We ramp with lead performer and Zoro and Paulie, a couple of other cards to 10 drop, play it as fast as possible, and then we rinse and repeat leader effect with cards like 5 drop Kid on board, which mitigate the downside, and cool cards like Killer, which are going to actually give us more benefits from using our Dawn minus effects. But basically, that is the list. This low tier tournament was really fun, guys. Everybody there was awesome. This is actually the first time I had been to this store, and it is a great store, so would highly recommend. Had a ton of fun, like really fun tournament. I hope they do another one, and we'll probably be playing a different leader if they do. But anyways, let's get into the gameplay. And getting right into game one here, we are actually going to be going right into Yellow Big Mom. Exactly what I played Z for. Great matchup for Z, as if we do get the 10 drop down, it is pretty much smooth sailing from there, as long as we are not in a really bad situation where we might die. So as long as there's no early character triggers and we do draw into 10 drop, we should be good. But no spoilers, but there is a likelihood that we just do not draw into 10 drop this game, and this does end up being our our only loss out of our 4 games today. That is a possibility. Not saying it's going to happen and not going to spoil anybody, but there is a chance that happens this game. But anyways, he actually ended up winning dice roll and actually chose first, which was pretty interesting to me. I think I actually ended up losing every single dice roll this time around. And he's going to actually drop that putting on 1 and grab the 8-cost Katakuri, which is a great card to grab. Then I'm going to read my leader, as he's really not a common leader. But on 2, there's usually not much to do with this deck, so we're just going to do that Great Eruption and cycle, trying to find the 10 drop at all costs. Great Eruption is a great card to use early. Do not be afraid just to use it to draw, especially if you don't have 10 drop in hand. But he's actually going to drop the Parosparrow on 3, get that perfect curve, and we're going to get the perfect curve of our own, playing lead performer Disaster, ramping and swinging 6 to his leader. Thankfully, no character triggers there. And now on 5 Dawn for him. Usually the best turn for you right now is going to be probably around a 4 drop, swing 6 or something along those lines. He'll swing 5, and he'll actually end up playing Zeus, giving his Big Mom Banish here, and we really want to get out of that one, because we don't have 10 drop in hand, and if that card in our life is 10 drop and we lost it, that would be really rough. So Zeus, very, very interesting card here, honestly. And now on 7 Dawn, we're actually going to activate Poly, KO that Perospero, and then ramp 1 active Dawn, putting it on leader and swinging into that Zeus. He'll actually grab a 10 cost Mom with that Perospero, which is kind of rough, but we were expecting it anyway, right? This deck can actually play around that card, and he's actually going to give us double 2k to save that Zeus, which is very surprising, but it is actually going to end up working out for him. He's going to instantly activate it, giving his Big Mom banish once again. And I don't think we have that many 2Ks in hand right now. So if he does right there, like swing 8, we are going to have to take it. And it's only going to be Zoro, which is actually really good for us. So thankfully, it was not a card we needed. Now on 10 Dawn, if we do have 10 drop Kuzan here, we can completely clear his board and basically call this game a wrap. But unfortunately, we do not have it. I would have definitely snap played it if we did. So we're actually just going to go ahead and play the 5 cost killer right now, as he has a perfect target in the Zeus, and then we will play the Sabo, avoiding any sort of Thunderbolt shenanigans and trashing 2 cards we do not need at the moment. We will actually go 5 to leader and KO. Oh no, actually, yeah, 5 to leader and KO the not Perona. We'll KO the Pudding, and the killer effect will actually KO the Rested Zeus, as his card reads, when you do Dawn minus effects, he will KO a Rested 3 cost, which is obviously great with 10 costs on board, but we don't have it, but it is good in this situation nonetheless. And then after with that 6k swing, looks like he's going to give us a 2k Bage, and we'll actually pass back to him. Only on 9 Dawn after our 10 Dawn, it just shows you the speed at which this deck can ramp a lot of the time. Like if we had 10 cost Kuzan, this game, yeah, as I've said multiple times now, would definitely be over. We do not, unfortunately. He's actually going to go 9 at our Poly. We'll just have to give that to him. And now with 5 Dawn remaining, I'm going to end up playing that Gadatsu, which KOs nothing, but that's completely fine. And we do know that he did use leader effect just now. And I'm almost 100% sure it's a Thunderbolt, but I really can't play around it, as there's nothing else I can swing at other than leader. So going to debate what to do here, as I'm trying to think if there's any way we can play around Thunderbolt in this situation, but unfortunately there just really isn't. So we're going to have to eat the Thunderbolt here. We're going to go 7k to lead, and yeah, going to get that Thunderbolt on the Sabo. We knew it was coming, but unfortunately can't swing with both characters at the same time. So we're going to go 7 here. He'll actually block with the Sanji. And we'll play the Kuzan, finally drawing into the 10 drop I think I saw there. Maybe not yet. But we actually couldn't play it last turn anyway, even if we wanted to, as we did use Looter Effect the turn before. So he'll go 5-6. We know the 10 drop's coming, and we'll just have to trash that life. Going down to 1 to his 3 right now, which is pretty rough. But going to go 5 at leader, give his Big Mom -4 to its cost. We will go 6 at leader once again. He'll give us a easy 2k there. And then finally playing that 10 drop a bit too late to KO that Gadatsu, and then we will go 6k at lead, activating leader effect and KOing the 10 Mom, as it is now at 1 cost only. He will get a Sanji trigger off the top, which is definitely not good here, as we do not want any bodies on board to swing into us, because we do have 1 life and not a lot of cards in hand. And I'm pretty sure in this situation, obviously it's a bit risky, so he's just going to play the safe route, play 10 Mom, but if he wanted to, he could have actually swung with Sanji and leader and finished me off there. And we actually do have to give him the blocker kid, which is also unfortunate, because if that was our only counter in hand, and if we could play it this turn, it would just kind of be a wrap unless he had a Thunderbolt. Because if you do blocker up, and then we can actually remove the Mom and the Sanji this turn, I think. Oh no, actually we'd only be able to remove 1. So we're going to go ahead and play the Poly down, KO that Sanji. And now with 2 Dawn remaining, we go 6k to leader. He will end up taking that. And we'll go another 6 to leader. We know our win con right now, and we actually need to have all these hit, but he's going to go 1k, 1k, which makes this an unwinnable situation. So we're just going to go 10, and then we're going to swing again with Z and KO that 10 Mom. Unfortunately, if he had 1 less counter in hand, he actually showed me his hand after the game. 6, 7, 10 would have won it for me, so Very unfortunate, but that was definitely a really good game and shows you why you really do not only need to draw into 10 drop, but you need to get 10 drop on curve. And getting into game 2 here, we're actually going to be going against a yellow Yamato, another leader that I thought was really good to be allowed in this tournament, but definitely one I think is on the fringes. Not a great leader at all since you can't play Tenmom and other things like that, but yellow is definitely very strong. So going to be showing that right now for sure. I think we actually lost dice roll again. As I said, I'm pretty sure we lost every dice roll this game, and he actually put me on first. So on 1 Dawn, no Great Eruption, so no cycle here. He's going to have the Shura on his 2 Dawn turn, so perfect curve for him. And it looks like he's going to end up grabbing a Amaru there. Definitely a threat, although we do have a lot of 5-cost blockers in this deck, so not as scary as you think it would be. And we'll go 5-2 lead, and he will take, and playing the Zoro Jiro out here is our best card on curve for sure, as there's really nothing he can do to remove it unless he was running like Thunderbolt right now or something, since 4 Dawn is not enough for a Gadatsu. And thinking what to do now, looks like he's just going to go 5 on Shura, just showing us he's really got nothing to play this turn. We will actually counter out of the 5, knowing there's a 6k incoming, and we definitely rather counter out of the 5 as opposed to the 6. So we're going to swing 4 at the Shura, ramping 1 active here from Zoro's effect, as we are now at 3 life. And going to ramp once again, playing the lead Performer Disaster, ramping up to, I think we are at 7 now, actually, which is really crazy, because if we do leave Zoro on board next turn, we can actually play 10 drop extremely early, but we'll actually go 7 once again, and we'll play the Great Eruption to cycle. Really fishing for that 10 drop. Because again, guys, you need to draw 10 drop. This is the whole matchup. We don't really have win cons other than 10 drop. So we run as much card draw as we possibly can while still having a good deck to find it. So now on 6 Dawn, he'll just play that Gadatsu and KO the Zoro, but it already did its job. So completely fine with us. He'll just go 5k to lead, and we'll give him a 1k with that killer. Now on 9 Dawn, a few different plays you can do this turn. Something like a Kid into Law or Kid into Borsellino. There's definitely a few plays. We'll just go 5k lead. He'll give us that Shirahoshi, and we'll ramp again with the lead Performer Disaster, probably just wanting to get rid of it out of our hand here. And going to give us a active Dawn, so we actually have 6 Dawn to work with right now. And we're just going to go ahead and play that Queen, putting 1 Dawn back to the Dawn deck. Cycling once again and getting rid of that Poly, as there's not really a use for it at this point in the game. Definitely a card that's better when we are ramping up to 10. Opponent is now on 8 Dawn, so if we had a Katakuri on curve right now, that would definitely not be bad, getting rid of our Queen and swinging into leader. However, if we did have 10 drop next turn, it would be a perfect target for us to clear with Gadatsu. So going to go 7k lead, we will take. Looks like we got a trigger there, but probably not worth using. And now with 6 Dawn remaining, we'll see how much he swings the lead. Just going to go 7. That's going to be an easy block plus a 2k counter. Knowing no rush in this deck, so really not a lot to worry about as if he was going to swing at Queen. And he'll just go ahead and play a Sanji, which is not really a crazy turn for 8 Dawn, and which is really good for us. We will play the 10 cost on curve, which is exactly what we wanted. Popping the Gadatsu on play, and swinging with leader, popping the Sanji on attack at the 6k lead. He'll actually get a Sanji trigger, which is really good here, as we completely wiped his board, but just replenishing it before we pass back to him is going to be very big for him. Yellow doing yellow things, what is new? And just thinking about with the trash, he'll go ahead and trash the Ohm here, and we'll go 6k at 6k leader since Yamato's effect is online right now. Just thinking that if he really does want to swing at Queen, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to counter out anyway. And he'll just give us a 2k beige, which is pretty good for us. So opponent now on 10 Dawn. Best play here, actually not Yamato since he's at 2 life, so it wouldn't heal, and it also wouldn't KO anything. And gonna go 6k here, probably at Queen actually, and we're gonna give him a 1k out. Now with 9 Dawn, if he wants to play Yamato just to get the big body on board, that will be completely fine with us. But looks like he's going to think this one over for sure. Doesn't have a great play this turn. I don't even think Yamato is a great play, if I'm being honest. Gonna count out the Dawn here and drop a semi-cost Big Mom, which is a bit awkward. We will snap, just trash that life, as we do not want this any more triggers to deal with. Then we have to, because really don't want any bodies on board from triggers. We want to be able to remove this board every single turn and never have anything to worry about. I think he might be running Rush and Nell, so even in that case, that might be rough, but he'll actually go Amaru and swing 8 with Sanji to leader, and we'll activate the Great Eruption trigger, triggering that and making him trash an Ohm from hand. Pretty smart there to swing with the Sanji, as we were probably going to remove it anyway. But now on 8 Dawn for us and 0 life, definitely a pretty scary spot. And he has 4 cards in hand, so there's really no going for game at this moment in time. We'll actually just end up playing the 5 cost Captain Kid. And we'll go at Sanji, I'm assuming, swinging 6 at Sanji and putting back 4 for our leader effect to KO that Big Mom. Just showing you why this 10 cost on board is insanely strong. We actually went to leader and he triggered a Beige. Oh, brother, yeah. I have really bad luck with Beiges, I'm not even going to lie. And we're actually going to go 6 again at leader, showing him that we really aren't scared of him finishing us off here. And we'll go ahead and play that Borsalino. So I think we have a lot of counter in hand, or at least enough to where we don't need to be scared. I think the only thing that could finish us off here is if he had an Amaru plus a Thunderbolt to get rid of both blockers and then just put the rest on leader. But willing to play around that for sure, because, or not play around that, because that is a very, very narrow out for sure. So he's just going to play it safe here. Going to go 6k to lead. Definitely thinking right now, if I block with Borsalino, he might Thunderbolt Kid and just go for game, which would be a bit scary. And if I block with Kid, he can do an Amaru on Borsalino. So a lot to think about there. So we're just going to go ahead and leave both blockers up. So putting him on, you still need both of those to finish me right now. Just giving you that 2k, and we are going to make you get rid of the blockers if you need to. Because if he does overswing and I have no blockers, there's really not a lot I can do in this situation. With 9 down remaining, Yamato is not a bad play here. Healing 1 and getting a 9k, but he's actually going to go 7 cost Enel, which is an interesting play, but I think it just seals his fate on the next turn, as our board is a little bit too powerful at the moment. And now just thinking about how to allocate the Dawn right now. I'm going to attach 1 to Enel, swinging at leader. We're just going to go ahead and block with Borsalino. That's kind of a no-brainer. And now passing back to us, we are on 7 Dawn. I apologize. 7 Dawn this turn since Kid ramped us 1. We'll go ahead and play that Killer, as we know we need to get rid of that Sanji and might as well make use of the Dawn that we are minusing anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put that back. KO Sanji swinging 7 leader, and Killer effect will actually KO NL. And he definitely does not want to use that effect, as trashing that life is just going to seal his fate. So Killer putting in work there, even though the game was probably over anyway, triggering a Shirahoshi, which is going to cycle out that hand, make it very plausible that there's a chance he can live this turn. But I think with 3 cards in hand, we can go magic numbers, and it will just be impossible to win. We'll go 6-6. Give us a 2 and a 1. Rest on him. We will go 12k lead, and he only has an El Thor. And even if that other card was a 2k, we still had the win. So definitely a good game there, and showing you why Kuzan on curve is not to be trifled with. And getting into game 3 here, we're actually going to be going against Blue Doflamingo. Not a leader I really expected to see in this low-tier tournament, to be honest, but upon looking back, he's definitely one of the best, and I can see how this player was currently 3-0. He actually got down paired into me. So would have gone to finals if he ended up winning this match here. With a really good leader, and I think he was saying it was one of his main decks for a while, so really, really strong leader, especially in this meta when you do not have to worry about all the crazy removal of Sakazuki and Katakuri and other decks like that really give Doflamingo a bad time. But a little bit scared, knowing if he goes turbo, I'm going to have trouble dealing with it before I get to 10 Dawn. So he's going to start off with the Perona. Perfect start for him, and you really hate to see it with Z right now because we are not the most defensive deck in the world. We do have a ton of blockers and stuff, but if they can definitely chip our hand out, that is a very real possibility. Now on 2 Dawn, we're actually going to pass to him. No, nothing to play here, and obviously he's just going to go with the 7k leader effect. Thankfully, we get a trigger, something going our way. We actually get a ramp 1 and draw 1, putting us on 5 this turn, which I don't think really matters too much, but it's definitely going to get us to 10 faster, which is exactly what we need. And we're going to go ahead and play another lead performer disaster, tapping 4 and getting 1 active. Going to use that extra Dawn to swing into Mihawk, so would have had to give us 2 cards there. So really fortunate we got that trigger in that situation. And he's actually going to go 6k lead, which is interesting to me because I thought he'd have another leader effect ready, but probably just knew that top 5 didn't have another good play. And he'll play that Moria and just get that 2k Mihawk back, which is fantastic for him that he already has a great target for that. So we're going to play Sabo, just looking for that 10 cost because we do need it next turn. So trying to get the max amount of cycle right now. We're going to get rid of 2 4-cost blockers, and then we're going to go ahead and tap. We're just going to put 1 on lead, swing 6. Finally getting him down to 4 here, and we're going to play the one-legged Toy Soldier, as I know this deck doesn't have a ton of removal unless he wanted to use a whole 3,000 worlds on my Toy Soldier, you know, and that would be completely fine. That would be great. But he's actually going to choose to use it on the Sabo instead, as I expected. Getting rid of that card, even though it can't be KO'd, it can definitely be bottom decked. And then we'll have to counter out of the 6 and take the 7, going down to 2 to his 4 life, and not the best board at the moment. Now on 10 Dawn, we do not have a 10 cost once again, despite all the draw we actually did leading up to this turn. We're going to go ahead and play Queen, cycle 2, and get rid of that Poly. And we're actually going to attach 1 to lead, go 6k to that Moria, who'll give us that easy 2k. And we'll play a Kuzan, drawing once again. We are rapidly cycling through this deck, and it looks like we still do not have 10 costs in hand, which is really rough because that is the only thing we are cycling for. Because once we get 10 costs on board, his little 4-drop boards are going to be very, very easy to remove. Getting Killer on board with leader effect and all these other things is going to be really good. But he's actually going to play the 9-cost Mihawk. Bottom decking the Queen, I actually thought it was interesting. He decided not to bottom deck the Kuzan, as that definitely puts his Mihawk in lethal range. But probably just didn't want me to get a free block after he ended up playing the Mihawk, which is definitely understandable. But still, I think Kuzan is a bit more of a threat, and you should have definitely gotten rid of it there. And looking at the hand right now, a lot of blockers and a lot of 5 costs, but not any 10 costs, as we're seeing right now. We're going to go 5 at the Moria, minusing 4 to the Mihawk, putting it down to 5. We'll activate that Toy Soldier, as we played it tons of turns before, putting Mihawk down to a 2 cost. Playing down the Sabo, we're actually going to draw 2, trash 2, cycling once again. Really, really digging for this 10 cost, guys. I'm not going to lie. We are doing the most that we can to find it. But still, probably halfway through our deck, and we still have not found it. And just going to play the Useless Captain Kid. Before we use that leader effect, swinging 6k to Moria and killing that Mihawk on attack, getting 1 back active with Kid effect. So, really great turn for us there, actually, getting 2 blockers on board. While removing that threatening board on his side. Unfortunately, still not seeing 10 cost, which is not great for us, as this next turn might be a little rough. He has 10 Dawn to work with, and Doflamingo is no stranger to flooding board, but looks like he's going to take the removal route, doing double 3,000 worlds on both of our blockers, which is very funny. And then swinging 7 into our Kuzan here, we're actually going to give him a 2 and a 1, as we really do not want him to get rid of it. And now on 8 Dawn here, 9 Dawn, since we had Kid. Even if we did have the 10 drop this turn, we couldn't play it. So not a ton of cards in this hand. I think he only has 2 or 3. We'll go ahead and go 5 lead, followed by another 5 lead, bringing him down to 3. We'll play Queen, cycling our deck again. Really digging for the 10 cost, and we'll play the Borsellino. Think we still don't have a 10 cost in hand, which is just hilarious at this point. The amount we have cycled, if you see our trash in the bottom left, it is almost as big as my deck right now, and we still haven't found it. But that is why this leader's not great, guys, because you need 10 cost and it's unsearchable, and that is a big problem. But he'll actually just play the 10 cost, bringing Perona back to hand and bouncing our Kuzan, so we can't remove the 10 cost if we could. And we're actually going to go 5 lead with Borsellino, showing him we really aren't scared to die right now. Going to go another 5 lead, and then just playing 5 Dawn once again for the kid, followed by another Queen, cycling again. And now Kid getting that one back active. We're actually going to go 7 to lead, not really caring about swinging with blockers, as we did just play 2 more. So he really can't go for game in this situation. And somehow, with all the draws and cards we've drawing from life, still not drawing in the 10 drop. I can't say it enough, guys. This is why this deck is not good. Now on 10 Dawn here, if he has a 10 drop Kaido, the one that draws 4, that would probably be pretty rough for us. Although we would probably just go for game with our board here. Just swing the max amount of time and try to get the cards out of his hand, as he does only have 1 life right now. So he's going to play Perona, set up that top 5 for his leader here. Actually hasn't been using his leader effect too much this game. He's been a lot more focused on removal, which I don't think is wrong, but it's definitely not amazing, and it doesn't put a ton of pressure on us. He'll go 12 at Queen. We'll give him that for sure. It looks like he'll go 7 at Borsellino. We'll just give him an easy 2K. And he'll play that Moria, grabbing a probably 2K from the trash. Did not catch it there. But now with 6 Dawn remaining, he'll actually tap that, and he will Red Rock our kid, which is pretty interesting. Definitely going the removal route, as I was saying. Not letting anything stick to this board. And we're going to go ahead and try to do the same. Now on 10 Dawn here. If we do have 10 drop, this is one of the situations where it's actually not the best to play. I think we actually do have it, and yeah, we finally drew into it. And we're actually just going to play it. We're going to KO that Moria, so we do not have to deal with it. And then we're going to go ahead and probably swing at lead here. Yeah, going to put that 4 back, swinging at lead, and KOing that Perona, as we only want him to have 2 swings. So if he does have something like a 3,000 Worlds, he can't just win with leader swing plus Kaido. And with 2 blockers remaining and a 10 drop on board, we're in a good spot next turn if he doesn't drop any blockers down, but he's actually going to Red Rock the 10 drop again. The amount of removal this game is pretty funny, honestly. Going 12k to lead, we're actually going to have to take that, going down to 0. He'll just go a 6k to lead, playing out a rested Boa. We will give him, oh sorry, that was actually 9. So we'll actually block with Queen and counter out 9 or 8, I'm not sure. I think it was 8. But now at this point in time, we lose, so we actually need to go for game right now. He has 3 cards in hand, I think, so we're going to have at least 2 of these hit. 4 cards in hand. We'll go 7 to lead, and then we'll go 9 to lead. And activating leader effect, we're going to go another 9 to lead, and he only has 2 1Ks, so we take this game. And getting into our final match here, we are going to be going against Black and Green Issho. Black and Green Issho, really cool deck, honestly, and I think, unfortunately, this is the only sort of tournament where this leader can shine, as he's really just not good enough. Just a bit too much expensive of effects, I think, and not really strong enough to warrant a lot of the stuff that works in this deck. But we're actually going to be going second this game. I think he actually ended up winning dice roll and taking first, which was interesting to me. But we're going to just go ahead and do Great Eruption on turn 1. Probably just searching for that 10 cost if we can. Going to swing 6 at us. We will take, and he'll just play that brand new, looking at top 3 here. Borsellino, a great card in this matchup, as we actually can't KO it with anything. So definitely a matchup-defining card. But I think he actually ends up choosing to grab X-Drake. Don't get me wrong, X-Drake is amazing in this matchup. Or sorry, just an amazing card in the Issho deck. But I don't think it was the right pickup there. Definitely would have struggled more with Borsellino. So we're going to get the lead performer on curve and just swing 6 to lead. He'll take that going down to 3. Now on 5 Dawn on his side, he is probably going to, just play that X strike that he just searched out, and then he will actually just go 6k to lead. Thinking about what to give him here, we're just going to give him a 2k no-brainer right now. And now on 7 Dawn, if we can ramp again, we can make sure we get Kuzan next turn, which I think we end up doing. But we're just going to go for another lead performer, just getting to 10 as soon as we possibly can. And then with our remaining 4 Dawn, I'm going to play a Kuzan, drawing another card. We have played 3 cards this game, and they have all drawn us a card, so not lost any card advantage at all, while getting to 10 as fast as we can is amazingly strong. He'll actually attach 1-2 X-Rake, swinging 2 leader, and that'll actually be a 7k swing. So basically when X-Rake has a Dawn attached and is rested, all of your Navy and Supernovas get plus 1k, which is pretty insane. He'll swing with leader, and we'll just go ahead and counter that one out. And then he'll actually play Law, bringing back brand new, and dropping a Beige. And just going to use leader effect, tapping that 1 Dawn to restand the X-Drake, which you will see here isn't going to do much, as we will just end up KOing it anyway. So going to drop that 10 drop Kuzan. Finally we get it on curve one of these games, and KO that Law. Then we'll swing 6 at lead, activating leader effect to KO the X-Drake. A fantastic turn for us. This is exactly what you want to get with this deck. And then I'll actually just block the 6k with Beige, and we'll go another 5k with Kuzan. And if he really wants to swing into it, that is completely fine with us. Just going to give us that brand new 1k counter, and now going to be on 9 Dawn. Going to play the X-Strike there, KOing our Kuzan, which is perfect for him. And he'll just put the rest on leader, swinging 9k to lead, and putting us at 1 life here, which is a bit scary if we don't have blockers. But this deck does have a plentiful amount of blockers, so we should be in a great position here. Just going to go ahead and drop that 5-cost kid. Sorry about the glare here. That is indeed a 5-cost kid, and then we'll swing 7 at leader. He will take while we actually KO the X-Drake on attack with leader attack. Just showing you why 10 cost on board is basically this whole deck. They can put down anything and you could just KO it, unless it's Borsellino. He really should have grabbed that earlier. So we'll just go ahead and cycle with Great Eruption and then go 12 at lead with Kuzan. Now on him, on 10 Dawn here, looks like he's just going to attach 1 to leader and play an Issho, resting our kid, as it is now a 4-cost with leader effect. So really cool way of using that leader. Going to put 1 more on leader and just play that X-Strike to KO the kid. As I said before, it is now at a 4-cost. So we're going to go ahead and counter out that 7k swing for a 2 and a 1. And now passing back to us. On 7 Dawn here, probably going to remove that X-Strike once again if we have the choice. I think Poly here is probably our best option. It looks like we do have it in hand, as it will ramp us to 10 while removing the X-Drake. So it actually makes it so we don't have to use leader effect and go down even lower in Dawn. So we're just going to go 6 lead after removing the X-Drake. Oh, we actually do choose to use leader effect just because we don't want him to have any chance to basically swing at leader and win this game, because we know green does not have any rush cards that we have to deal with. And he'll actually just give us the plus 3k event there, and he will take his final life from our Kuzan swing. So pretty great match for us here. We're really getting the cards we need to see when we need to see them. Obviously, you only really do need to see the 10 cost on curve, but getting the ramp into it, it was basically the perfect ramp to 10. Which is really good for us. He'll actually just go 6 to lead and then play a 8-drop kid, activating its effect, and nothing to play from hand, so he will not play anything. You can actually do that where you can activate effects and just not let them resolve if they work out in your favor. So gonna play the 5-drop kid before we end up using leader effect, and we'll actually swing at kid and KO kid with our leader effect, which is a pretty interesting interaction. And then putting that Dawn we just ramped with kid effect onto our Poly, swinging 7. He'll counter out of that. and then we will go 10 to lead, and he actually has 3 2Ks, surviving another turn. If he did have a rush card, it could be a little scary for us here, but he does not. He just has the 5-cost Sabo, and going to draw 2, look at him for a second, and put him right back in the trash. And then just swing 10 at lead. Yeah, we'll just take, knowing that we pretty much just win next turn. It's not really a lot to think about. So, just going to swing at lead, thinking I'm going to KO Sabo, but realizing that Sabo can't be KO'd the turn after he's played. But anyways, that's going to be it. And that is going to be the video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. This was definitely a fun video to make and a really fun tournament to compete in. I think tournaments that aren't just play whatever you want and they are locked to either a color or low tiers like this tournament was are really, really fun because they do spice up the game a bit and make like a whole new meta that you can dive into. Japan gets their stuff before we do, so we kind of know the meta before we even get into it, so there's not really a lot of finding things out. So I think this was a lot of fun for that reason in particular. But anyways, guys, if you do want to see any more of these low-tier tournaments, I really do hope they run some, but there is no guarantee. If they do, I will definitely make another video on it. But if they don't, we might do some of our own, honestly. If you guys are interested in us hosting tournaments and you would be interested in playing in that, we could do sim or we could do webcam. It would be a lot of fun. I think Z was a lot of fun today for sure. Playing in a meta where Z is probably top 5 is something that's really fun to do and you're never ever going to see usually playing this game. But if you do like low tier decks, guys, yeah, please let me know if you'd want something like that. But anyways, that is going to be the video. Look forward to our video tomorrow. It is going to be a mega banger. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.